Saving Spring, a fable told by the participants of the Alive and Active program at the Carlton Neighbourhood Learning Centre.
There was once a very, very cold winter. Spring should have come, but it hadn't. The people in the village could not grow any food and they were hungry. Where was spring? The mayor called all the people to a meeting.
Spring has been taken by the old man Winter, and he is holding her in his castle. Some brave people have gone to rescue her, but none of them have returned.
Nobody spoke. Finally, a man named Oscar stood up.
Mia, I will go to the North Pole and see if I can free Spring from old man Winter.
The mayor said,
But what can a young man do against the strength of the old man Winter?
Perhaps it's not strength that I will need. Perhaps perseverance, cunning, and the love of Spring will work better.
So Oscar left for the North Pole, carrying a large bundle of food and warm clothes. Gradually the air grew colder. The wind blew the hard snow into his face. He was scared and tired, but he still kept on going for the love of spring.
Finally, Oscar saw Old Man Winter's huge ice castle. He started looking for ways into the castle, but suddenly 3 soldiers surrounded him and dragged him into a big room. There he found a few rabbits, small deer and guinea pigs, all shivering with cold. He was so tired he fell fast asleep. When he woke up, his hands were no longer human, but tiger's paws. He turned into a huge orange tiger. A rabbit sat a little further away, forgetting everything. Oscar knew he was terribly hungry and leapt at the rabbit, but she got away. Suddenly he remembered who he really was. Tears filled his eyes and he hid his huge head between his paws, shaking with sorrow and shame.
It's all right, my friend.
He heard a rabbit's small voice.
This is what Old Man Winter does to people when they come here to save spring. He turns them into animals and they forget their humanity.
What shall I do? I don't want to hurt you or any other person here. How can I remember my humanity and my purpose?
The rabbit said,
There is only one way to remember, and we must do it now, before you forget again. Give me your paw and I'll tattoo your name on it. That will remind you who you are. All my friends and I have our names tattooed on our paw.
Oscar put out his paw and told the rabbit his name. He suffered the painful tattooing without flinching.
Who are you? Why did you risk your life to make me chase you?
I am Greta. I come from a small village in the north. All the people and our animals died from cold, and as I was the only one left, I decided to try and help everyone who comes to save spring.
But what can you do?
We are digging a tunnel under the ice castle to reach Spring's jail, but we are too small and weak. Every day I try to contact a large animal to help us, but I have not succeeded. With your large claws, you can dig faster than any of us.
Greta took Oscar to the hiding place, a dark underground cave. The animals made torches from sticks and rags dipped in oil. Oscar said,
Show me the tunnel. I'm ready to start digging.
Oscar dug for days, often forgetting to eat or sleep, following a map Greta had drawn, which showed him the direction he needed to follow. One day, as Oscar was digging, the frozen ground broke above him and a large piece of ice fell on his head. Oscar collapsed.
Finally, Oscar opened his eyes. He was confused and he growled loudly, not knowing who or where he was. All the animals ran away, frightened. Only Greta kept calm. She grabbed his tattooed paw and held it in front of his face. As soon as he saw his name, Oscar remembered who he was. He kept on digging until he was under Spring's cell. Greta said,
"We must bring more large animals to fight the soldiers who guard Spring."
Off she went and tricked a large wolf to chase her into the tunnel. Oscar was waiting, pounced on the wolf, then he held it on the ground while Greta tattooed his paw. She did not know the wolf's name, so she tattooed the word Spring, hoping that it would work. Soon as the wolf saw the word, his memory returned.
I am the leader of the wolf. All my wolf is human, and I know all their names, so we can treat them here and restore their humanity.
They successfully rescued the wolves, a few bears and a lion, creating a small army.
The army of animals crept along the tunnel and finally they reached Spring's jail. Cautiously, Oscar raised his large head out of the tunnel to see her. Spring was locked up behind bars, all made of strong ice, and soldiers stood guard around the cell. She slept peacefully under Old Man Winter's spell. Her golden hair spread around her head, her dress still clean and fresh. But there were no flowers around her, since they had frozen, and spring without flowers was a sad sight. The animals burst out of the tunnel and frightened away the guards. They melted the ice bars with their flaming torches. They rushed into her bed. The spell was broken and she woke up. When she was awake, the room started to get warm and to smell of beautiful flowers.
As they left the castle, Old Man Winter stood with his ice wand raised high, thinking that he could put another spell on her. But Spring smiled and said,
"You cannot win again, Old Man Winter. I was asleep when you kidnapped me and alone. Now I am awake and surrounded by loving people. I am now stronger than you and you know it."
Golden light flowed out of her finger and melted the icy magic wand.
"Go home, Old Man Winter, and wait for next year. Do not try to disturb the altar of seasons ever again, because if you do, nature will notice and take her revenge."
Old Man Winter looked at the snow melting under his feet, climbed into the sleigh and flew back to the castle, defeated. All the animals cheered. Spring kissed each animal and immediately it went back to being human.
"I must go and bring spring back to the world. Thanks to you, my heroes, all will be well again. Summer and autumn will follow me, and Old Man Winter will not dare to interfere again."
She flew away, trailed by a stream of rose petals that showered the people as they waved at her.
So they said their goodbyes to each other and went home to their villages. Only Greta and Oscar remained. Oscar thought that Greta was not only beautiful, but she was charming, and he had admired her even when she was a rabbit.
I have nowhere to go, as I told you. My village is gone.
Oscar looked at her and knew that after their adventures together, he would never want to separate from Greta again. He took her hand in his. Strangely, both of them still had their tattoos on their hands, a permanent memory of their heroism.
You can come with me to my village and make it your home. My friends will welcome you when I tell them how brave you are and how your cutting saved spring. I had the physical strength, but I could have never done it without your wisdom.
And so it came to be. Greta and Oscar went back to their village, where everyone welcomed them as heroes. They were soon married on the village green, where wonderful flowers grew again, and they lived happily ever after.